Welcome to the afternoon session of LINX124. And first up on the stage, sorry, I'm going to turn to the side slightly blinded. We have Alan. He's LINX's product owner, and he'll be doing a live demonstration on self-service portal functionality. Thank you.
Cheers, Inga. Thanks very much, everyone. Great to be here. As Inga said, I'm a product owner embedded within one of the software teams at LINX. And within our team, our primary responsibility is developing changes to the LINX portal and ensuring that the quality of the user experience is easy and efficient when ordering and maintaining your services. And our ambition in the team is to ensure that we deliver this great quality user experience through an easy self-service process, which is enabled by automation. You've heard that a couple of times over the last few days, but automation is important to ensure that the user experience is quick and efficient. And outside of the user experience, it also benefits LINX as well as we scale and get bigger as a business. Jen, in her opening remarks yesterday, mentioned that some of our members were extremely surprised by how quick our support is, 3 minutes instead of 3 hours. And automation is one of the ways that we're able to support members quickly and efficiently and allow the NOC team to focus on things that automation can't cover. So today, I'm going to do a live demo running through the ordering process to order a private VLAN service through the LINX portal, show you what it looks like on the front end in the portal, but then also sending out the invitation to the connecting member, and then a little bit of extra information talking about the process in the background to enable this automation and what it looks like behind the scenes. So I'll start here in the LINX portal. This is hopefully a familiar sight to many people. If we imagine that I am member A, and I've reached out to another member in the LINX network, and I've established that I want to set up a secure private connection to that member so we can transfer data via a private VLAN service. So I go into the LINX portal to start that process. And just a bit of additional information. This is the UAT instance of the LINX portal. That means in software development, before we release any changes to members in production version of portal, we develop and test those changes here in a mirrored UAT environment. So some of the data you'll see here may differ slightly to what you'd see on your portal in production. But if I go through the usual process here, so if I want to order a private VLAN service, go to Orders, request a new service. Here we house all of the services that can be ordered through the portal. And in this instance, I want to go to a port-based service here. You can see them all lined up here. I won't go into detail around these, but any additional information that people want to know is housed on LINX Community if people want to know more detail about some of the other services outside of private VLAN. So I start the process here, pick my fabric. As mentioned, this is UAT environment, so there is a bit of a strange list here, some things that you wouldn't see in production. And in this case, I want to use the dev3 lab just for the purposes of this test. So I can select my bandwidth here. I already have a port provisioned on this fabric, so this is the port I'm going to use in this instance. I can see a summary of all of my changes on the side here and all the costs associated with that. Go through to the next stage of the process, set up a service name so that it can be identified on the port. Select the VLAN ID, again, for provisioning purposes. So in this case, I've had a conversation with Alan Regular 2, and this is the person that I want to establish the VLAN service with. And I'll leave this field blank, and it will just contact the guardian associated with that account when I set up this service. Again, I'll leave these fields blank because this is just for invoicing purposes and to add anyone else onto the email chain so they can be aware of the order. But looking at my details on the side here, I can see that this is the name of the service that I've given in the previous step. The fabric is correct. I'm happy with the prices, and I will submit the order and confirm that this is a self-service order and it will be provisioned via automation, and I'm happy for that to take place. So that's it from member A's side, very quick and efficient. I can see here now that I will receive a confirmation email of the process that I've completed. This will be provisioned via self-service, via automation, and I just need to wait for the connecting member to accept the process on his side as well, and then I'll get an email when that member accepts the invite. So now that's how it looks like on the front end, and most people will be familiar with that process. But behind the scenes, I can show you what's happening at LINX after the order has been submitted. So this screen demonstrates the LINX ticketing system. And whenever an order or support request is entered, the NOC and the sales team get a ticket created in this system to notify them of their actions that are required. But in this case, as mentioned, because we have allowed port-based services to be facilitated via automation, the tickets are more for NOC and sales to monitor the process as the automation completes. So if I open the tickets relating to this order here, we can see that there is a ticket for the sales team to notify them of the order and who the order was made by, but the service will be provisioned by self-service automation. No action from sales is required, which is news to there is. So then as we go through the ticket that is more for engineering to have oversight over, we can see the automation process in action. So looking at the first note here, I can see the details of the order, and a system called the order management system, the OMS, has started the process of creating those services in our inventory databases and the process of provisioning. So if we look through the steps here, the OMS has started the inventory changes. The service has created an order item in the database. So this is the unit and the service itself. So two items that inventory needs to be created for. As inventory has started, quality assurance checks are performed by the OMS to make sure that the inventory is created successfully and no issues occurred at that point. Those checks have now been completed over here. Inventory has been created correctly, and it's got to the point now where inventory has been created and provisioning has started, but at the same time, there is a hold on the process while we wait for the other participant to accept the invitation to the private VLAN. So just a note here that the automation is on hold, waiting for all invitations to be accepted. So there's nothing else that can be done now until member B does his part. So if I imagine that I was now member B monitoring my email service, and I receive an email, again, the email is sent via the OMS, so this is an automated process. And looking at the content of the email here, it says, "Dear Alan Regular 2, you've been invited by Alan Regular to establish a private VLAN connection on this fabric and ports within that fabric. And the speed of the service is listed here as well." So I can then click this link here, and that will take me into the portal to continue that process. But just because I'm already logged in with one member, I'll just show how that looks here. So I've clicked that link, I've gone into the portal as member B, gone into my orders page, and I can see here I have an invite to join the private VLAN. So if I view this and confirm, I can select if I want to provision this via a reseller port or one of my own ports that exist on this fabric. So in this case, I'll select my own port. I can see the details that were established by the first member. So the service owner, yep, I had a conversation with Alan Regular. I'm happy that this was a service that I asked for. This was the service name that Alan Regular entered when he created the original order, and the speed is as we expected. So I'll pick a port that I've already provisioned on this fabric, go to the next step, select my VLAN ID. Happy with the details contained in the order summary. Also happy that this service will be facilitated by automation. And confirm that. And again, I can see here what the next, informed of as to what the next steps will be. So the self-service order will start immediately, and you receive an email once your order items are processed. And this will trigger billing once that process is completed. So again, if we go back into Desk Pro, similar process takes place here. We now have a second set of tickets for automation to take place on the unit for member B. So we can see here, Alan Regular 2 has made an order for a request to join a private VLAN. So it's establishing inventory in our databases once more, and the automation is running through that process to ensure that inventory is created correctly. And once it's been created correctly on this side as well, it will then tie up with the original ticket for member A and reconcile both of those processes to create the provisioning in an inactive state, but then run a further action to then activate the service on those ports that were created. So if I just, that may take a little while to set up. So if I just quickly run through a bit of a very high level, simplified technical diagram of how the process is working. You can see here, we, as a user, went to the interface, which was portal. We submitted the order through the portal to record the order within the ticketing system. The OMS is the glue, the bridge that sits in the middle of everything. So between the portal, the ticketing system, and over here on the right, it runs the process to set up the inventory correctly. So these databases on the right, just to give you a bit of information, so the business support system, Sugar CRM, is the database where we store all business information. So therefore, whenever a service is created, it can be associated with that member. Sales, marketing, and finance can see a record of the service so they can perform their actions. And then the second database here is the TSI, operating support system. So this is where technical information is stored, and the NOC can maintain and provision the service from a technical point of view. And the calls to create the inventory in those databases it's done between the OMS and using a vanilla API to create calls to those databases, receive the successful response to feed back into the ticketing system to say inventory was created successfully, and you can move on to the next part of the process, which is provisioning, which then activates the service via the network automation platform, the NCA action. And then that will then create the service on the LAN. So if I just go back to the ticket, you can see here now, the automation process has finished for the original user. So we left it here last time, waiting for invitations to be accepted. And we now have the status updates beyond that. So all participants have accepted the invitation. The automation is resuming. business service has been created for member B. That's been configured successfully. Both members have kind of finished creating their inventory, and the services are provisioned successfully. And if we go to the portal, we can see all of those updates that were in the ticketing system reflected in the portal as well. So new services created and provisioned, and the process will start immediately, and billing will also start. And we can see that for member B as well. So if we go to My Services, open up, and we can see here now we have a private VLAN unit that is active for both members. Just go here. And there we go. And just to give you one more update. So this is the network config, and we can see a commit here to the network config to show that these changes have been made and these services have been added to the config, and those services are active. And that's pretty much it from me. Is there any questions or comments? Anyone wants to know any more information? Oh, there's a question over there.
Hi, my name's Ivan Beveridge. Apologies, I missed the beginning, but one of my queries around the automation that you have capability of doing was if, for example, we wanted to change the change the line card or something like that in some maintenance, and so we knew the MAC address, and let you know. If we were to update the portal with that, is that going to immediately break our connectivity because we haven't swapped it yet, or do we need to do that at the same time as we're swapping it, or anything like that?
I think I'm going to have to fire that over to Sean, if you don't mind. Yeah, so Sean's just confirmed it needs to be done at the same time, otherwise it will break.
Okay, I think that's it, thank you.
Yeah, if you want any more kind of further information about that, good to direct your questions to Sean for more detailed information. Just one thing I forgot to mention as well, the automation process went smoothly and successfully there, but any time automation does fail, these things can happen. The knocker are informed and they're able to pick up the process manually, and the system tells them where the failure occurred so that they can do that easily. Any more questions? No? Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Alan.